acrobatics and choreography is from the choreographer of A Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. He is the one that did this phenomenal and unique combat system only found in Episode 3. This game, it has even been stated as the rough draft of The Force Unleashed. Multiple attack moves, combat mechanics, taking the choreography of the prequel era films and turning it into complex combat mechanics. This is one of the licensed video games that proves licensed games can be the pinnacle of gaming with the right amount of what you put into the game. Outside, there's an upgrade system where you upgrade techniques, attack moves, and force abilities. Holy fucking shit, you have this much fleshing out the gameplay. Dude, you have fucking force abilities, you have force push, force throw, force heal, which should only be a game mechanic, not put into a film at the last second like a certain film. But anywho, grapples, dash attacks, area attacks, critical fucking attacks too, goddamn. Not to mention these unique animations and movement you see in the combat system itself. It's all these different force powers and attack moves, and isn't this supposed to be a PS2 game? God damn, the level of innovation, not to mention giving you incentive to replay the game multiple times to level up each part of the character. Outstanding. Then this game has so much fucking content. It's a full game. Can you believe it in this day and age? We never get full games. We get pieces of a game, then the rest is either sold to you as live service, microtransactions, or DLC. This was back when games like this not only has content, but it was a full game. It has a story mode with multiple levels of action and upgrades. With a unique fleshed out combat system and with the acrobatics of the prequel trilogy turned into a complex combat system. God damn! The amount of action, of movement, the acrobatics these force users pull off, the amount of force abilities and attacks you pull off. Holy shit, this game came out back then, but it easily could have came out today. It's that ahead of its time. So it has a story mode. It is a bonus mode and co-op mode, not to mention a versus mode. Yes, you can duel people with multiple characters in the game. It's goddamn outstanding. You can actually fucking verse people in game. You can actually fight people in Star Wars with the complex acrobatics and combat mechanics. This combat system is smoother, really just well made, and has so many incredible animations that play out into a complex combat based on the film's action choreography. This is some of the most unique and the single most unique choreography ever created, and now it's been turned into an action game. This game was something else. Playing this on PS2 was so crazy. I beat it over 100 times back to back, over and over. It's that innovative for its time, and holy shit, they don't make games like this. Hell, they don't even make Star Wars games like this anymore. Look at Jedi Fallen Order. That game doesn't have complex combat mechanics. It's very bare bones. It also doesn't have a lot of action platforming. Maybe like a few, but not that much. This game has complex combat mechanics and has decent platforming. This game was really innovative. It gave you that feeling of being a highly skilled Force user. It made you feel like you have all these different Force abilities and techniques. It's such a complex combat system. There's so many different ways to counter and attack, and it gets more complex and faster paced as you fight and level up more and more and progress through the game. The gameplay loop has so many twists and turns and hoops. There's so many different layers to its combat mechanics. This easily could have been on PS4 in the modern day with an open environment, whether it be open world or open-ended. It's worthy of that kind of treatment. The combat and gameplay loop is that unique. Imagine this as an open world Star Wars game. See, back then they used to make games that innovated on this level. That's what makes it worthy of being the most refined combat system in video game history. I played a truckload of combat systems, but I've never stumbled upon something like this. Taking the choreography of Attack of the Clones and The Phantom Menace and turning it into complex combat mechanics, having a leveling system where you can upgrade attack moves and your character in-game. Holy shit, that's innovative. And that's a boatload of content for an action game. A versus mode, a co-op mode, a story mode, a bonus mode. Yes, they even let you, spoilers, Spoilers, when you beat the game, not only does it give you an alternative ending to the main story, but it gives you one of the coolest things in the entire Star Wars video game history. It gives you a bonus mode where you play in the era of A New Hope and fight Obi-Wan as Darth Vader after what happened on Mustafar, not only giving some incredible context to one of the most iconic battles in cinematic history, but you get to experience this shit yourself. Holy fuck, with the complex combat system too. That's fucking outstanding. I get to play as fucking Darth Vader with complex combat moves, fighting Obi-Wan in A New Hope era. What the fuck? Holy fucking shit, this is incredible. That's fucking incredible. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This is what I mean when I talk about old school games. Look at how much they innovated. Look at what they put into the game. Look at how far they took this idea. Wow. And it has all this damn content. When you do the verses, you get a sense of testing out the gameplay mechanics. So you'll have these intense battles with unique attacks and memorization of complex combat moves. Then you have multiple grabs, so you can even combo people and perform grabs that all have unique animations and effects. Whoa, this game is really fleshed out, especially in the combat department. Damn, this is one of the most iconic PS2 games of all time. This is some of the pinnacle of gaming, especially for the PS2 era. The fact that we got a game like this on PS2 for that time, damn outstanding. Dude, you actually get to do this shit. It's incredible. Playing as fucking Darth Vader, fighting Obi-Wan in the Death Star. Dude, that's fucking crazy. What the fuck? Then you got all these different attack moves and upgrades the game gives you. Damn. Then there's actual incentive in constantly playing because you're leveling up your character and you get to try out new attacks and new force abilities. When you move and fight, you'll notice the combat system is very connected. Each move flows into each other, so it makes it more accessible to pull off different techniques. It's fast and the animations are very full and filled in that and full. And are very full and feel full and alive, real. They also have combination techniques and juggling. Yes, you can actually juggle in combat by using aerial techniques to juggle people in thin air. You can fight in mid-air as well, adding another level of accessibility to the gameplay. So many different attack moves, so many different ways of jumping, so many different animations and fleshed out mechanics. This game was like a tech demo or an experiment of a next-gen game on the PS2 era. When you jump in this game, it's pretty high. It makes you feel like an advanced force user. Jumping also has different animations that play out depending on which direction you jump. These look so damn cool, and they feel alive and real. The combat system has weight behind each attack. They feel full in and real. They do a great job of making you feel the movement of a person and not just a character. It feels like you're a moving person, and the combat reflects this. This is how much refined animation they put into not only the movement and jumping of the game, but its combat system. The game has segments when you force push or interact with a turret. Although this can be a decently fun minigame, it wasn't all that compelling in comparison to the main gameplay. They didn't do a good enough job of fleshing out the gameplay outside of the main combat. Yes, the base gameplay is fleshed out and it's absolutely unprecedented for its time. However, I'm sorry game devs, when it comes to things outside the main gameplay, the side minigames you have to play to force jump or force push or turrets, these were not that well crafted. They just weren't all that fleshed out. It actually stunted the gameplay at times because you'd rather progress through the main story. Now, fighting ships in a turret is a decent challenge, I'll give it that. However, they could have done more with these turret sections. They could have been really interesting. Instead, it's just a small minigame. Really, that's not as fleshed out as the main gameplay. These segments can bog down the main gameplay if only they fleshed out these segments of the game as much as they fleshed out the main gameplay. Now, with that being said, the gameplay overall is outstanding. This is some of the most refined action gameplay in the entire video game medium. Now, with that being said, the gameplay overall is outstanding. This is some of the most refined action gameplay in the entire video game medium too. Dual mode, and to test out the full level of these combat mechanics is outstanding. Playing the missions in the story mode and experiencing each level, each platform, each complex acrobatic animation. Holy shit, this game was ahead of its time. Don't get me wrong, this game is one of the most outstanding Star Wars games ever made, and it's even been utilized as the rough draft for The Force Unleashed. It was that ahead of its time. There's also these really strong force moves and techniques you pull off in-game. When in the middle of a combo or technique, you can have force-based attack finishers and even Terakasi combat. Hand-to-hand combat Terakasi, except with a twist. It's from a highly force-sensitive user, so they pull off some of the most profound acrobatic animations, and you get to turn this into a powerful combo finisher. There are multiple bosses in the game that require memorization of techniques and timing, and even a level of skill. These boss fights are so strong to fight, and pulling off the unique acrobatic animations is also satisfying to do, especially in a boss fight. There's multiple levels of varying locations in the prequel trilogy era. The graphics looked really good for its time. Almost looks like a PS3 game. Not only are there boss fights, but they even have you fight vehicles as bosses. Pretty amazing. This game is a true relic, and it's one of the single greatest Star Wars games of all time. It's one of the best licensed games and proves that licensed games can be just as good as AAA mainline titles or well-made indie games. This game was like a full-budget AAA release in terms of quality. This game, dude, man. This is what I'm laying down, and thank you for watching.